is Tim Andrews, who won this race a year ago, Dan, and boy, did they have some troubles. They blew a motor yesterday in practice and did not have a backup, yet here they are.
Tough break for him. Paul Andrews, the crew chief, his dad on this car. In 1992, he was a crew chief for the champion Alan Kowicki, the late Alan Kowicki. He worked for Petty Enterprises just up till recently, and Paul actually fell off a ladder just some 6 weeks ago. He fractured his heel. He got a compound fracture in his back. He's got a head concussion. Man, he's a little sore, but he's glad to be here.
Well, I want to talk about Tim, who's in that car, and how they got it on the track. They actually got a motor borrowed from Andy Santerre. They took it out of Santerre's backup car last night. They got here at the crack of dawn this morning. They worked all day to get that motor. Jonathan Smith happened to be pushed around. He had problems just getting to the starting grid. But Tim Andrews, who will finish out the weekend as the spotter for Kyle Petty. That's what he does on a normal race weekend. But this Friday he's going to spend trying to defend his championship here in the Sunoco 150.
All right, I saw 3,400 here, 3,400 second gear.
Checking them RPMs. You hear Tim Andrews talking on the radio, 3,400. What they're doing there, Mike, is they're getting the caution speed on the racetrack and pit road speed. The pace car will maintain pit road speed, which is 35 mile an hour. That's what they have to maintain. That's what he just called to his spotter. We did not have speedometers in this car, so he was telling what the RPM was.
There's Jonathan Smith in the car that's owned by Barney McRae. They had a tough time just getting that car fired to get down onto the starting grid, and now it has lost power completely. And I'm not sure Jonathan Smith, a rookie who has had a very much of an up and down season, is even going to get to start the race here at Dover today.
It's like an old Morgan McClure car there. Yellow, painted like Kodak, but don't believe it is, but it sure brings back memories.
Smith did not have a top 10 this year. His best finish 13th in Mansfield, Ohio. Bunching up, I think we're about ready to go racing here. I don't know about you, Dan, but I am really excited to see these cars run on this high-banked mile track. This is the fastest track they race on all year long, and it's going to be something to see.
Well, it is. These guys are excited. They run. This is the only type of track that they come to that's this fast with this much banking, and it's a Nextel Cup Series track. And man, they're so excited as drivers. I remember in the old days in the Dash Series, when I raced in the Dash Series and stuff, you would come to Bristol, North Wilkesboro, and tracks like that. You'd really get excited about it because the guys in the Nextel Cup Series are watching. The Busch cars are here today. They're watching. So a lot of eyes watching these guys. So they really do need to have a good run here today to showcase their talents, especially if they're looking for a career in this series.
Well, there you see on the front row two guys who I think got a career. There on the right is Jeffrey Earnhardt, on the left Joey Logano, both of them 17. And right behind them, Sean Case, Brian Eichler. Those are four young guns who you're going to be hearing a lot about in the future.
Yeah, see Jeffrey Earnhardt in that red #1 car. He was pumped. They came here and tested. He felt real good about testing. Talked to Clint Cram, who's the crew chief on that car. They basically work out of Andy Santerre's shop, but Clint Cram is the crew chief on that car, and he maintains it. Scott Morin's the car chief. They work really hard. Not a big crew on that team, but they're really, really excited about here today.
And you got the two guys behind them, not developmental, but they basically prepare their own cars in Peyton Sellers and Eddie McDonough. Sellers in the 83, McDonald in the 48. Hold on, folks, we're ready to go green here at Dover in the Monster Mile.
Green, green, green. Green flag, still outside. Clear high if you need it.
And Joey Logano gets a great start to this race. Boy, look at him, Dan. He has jumped out now to a four-car lead over Jeffrey Earnhardt.
Yep, he got a good run there on that outside and just really took advantage of it. And I think Jeffrey said, "With the heck with it, just go ahead. You know, I'm not going to fight for position."
Sean in your mirror by himself.
Here talking about Sean in his mirror. He's doing the right thing. He's setting a good pace, getting single file this early in the race, Mike. That's exactly what he needs to do.
Yeah, remember, we've got to stop a minimum of 3 times in this race. We'll talk as we get further along about the rules about changing tires and refueling the car. It's a lot different than in some of the national series. And Logano, who has, by the way, we might mention, he just clinched the championship by taking the green. So an official congratulations go out to Joey Logano and all of that Joe Gibbs crew on taking the title here in 2007 in the NASCAR Busch East Series.
Yep, they've done an outstanding job with that team. That whole team's just been, this second half of the series has just been totally awesome. Have done everything right, and it just shows on the racetrack. Mike Silby, the crew chief on that race car, has just done an excellent job.
Well, pretty good battle for second here, but I think Sean Case is going to be a little patient because remember, these guys are teammates. Both of those cars prepared in Andy Santerre's shop, which is located in Harrisburg, North Carolina, right across the street from the Lowe's Motor Speedway. And here comes Case on the inside.
We're behind him.
And I think Earnhardt just decided to let him go. You heard the spotter say all clear. Hey, it's too early to really be battling and knocking fenders off.
Oh, you're exactly right. And Earnhardt's just got to get in the groove here, get some heat in them tires, and let that car work. If he needs to make changes, he can do it. He's doing exactly that. He's so excited. He feels so confident about this car. His car's so good on the long run, and he knows that. You let these guys burn some of them tires off there a little bit and see what happens.
Well, Ruben Pardo is coming down pit road right now. That is a pass-through penalty ordered by NASCAR. He jumped the start.
Yep, so that's not good. 63 car off the pace there. John Salemi, unfortunately, looks like a possible problem on that car.
John Salemi had a decent run in New Hampshire last time out, finished 12th. But Salemi looks like it's going to be a long day for him. Not so for Joey Logano, who took the lead on the start, qualified on the front row. Caution is out. First caution of the day here at Dover. And caution is out with Joey Logano as our leader. Sean Case looking strong behind him. Then it's Jeffrey Earnhardt and Brian Eichler here at Dover. Well, we've run 7 laps. John Salemi has brought out the caution. Joey Logano took the lead on lap 1 and has really been dominant so far in the early part of this race. Our congratulations again to him for winning that championship. Inside MMA is your opportunity to step inside the world of mixed martial arts and find out what it takes to be a champion. Tonight, Inside MMA goes on the road to Las Vegas, where you'll have news, highlights, expert analysis, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. Inside MMA right here on HDNet. Well, Mike Sibley got to be happy that Logano crew they are now champions. Let's go down the net.
You're exactly right. They are excited. I mean, the banner's out and everything, but you have a rookie driver. How proud are you of your team and also Joey?
I couldn't be more proud of this group of guys and Joey to come out of this year with the championship, Rookie of the Year. You know, we started this whole deal late with just a couple of guys, and it's just unbelievable to be here right now, to win as many races as we won, to win this championship. I'm at a loss for words, and right now we're just going to go out and have some fun now that he's clinched this deal. So,
you know, I was lucky enough to spend some time with you and your crew. The chemistry, you could just feel it when you were in your garage. Did that have something to do with you guys being able to take this championship?
Absolutely. Any successful team is going to have that chemistry, and we're just so fortunate that every guy in our group just loves doing what they're doing, and never get down about anything, never get bummed about anything. They just keep digging, and they're all moving in the same direction.
Well, everyone's been talking about Joey Logano, so I'm going to ask you, how good is Joey Logano?
Joey's awesome. He's the best. I haven't seen better, period.
Well, there you go. You heard it straight from his crew chief's mouth. He's that good. Mike, back up to you guys.
Well, Natalie, Mike Sibley has seen some good drivers. Matter of fact, he was formerly with Dale Quarterly, who won here in Dover in 2004. Mike Sibley's done a great job with these youngsters, Joey Logano, and also with Mark Davis. Also hot shoot Mike McLaughlin, who has been one of the coaches for the drivers for these teams.
Also, Joey Savali, he's the spotter on that car. His brother is James Savali that runs open wheel modifieds. Joey Savali also is an open modified driver. So these spotters, a lot of these spotters that spot for these teams today, they have been drivers. And I would want, as a driver, being out there, I would want a driver spotting for me because they really can relate to what's going on inside that race car when you're out there driving. It does make a big difference. So you got Joey Logano in the car, Joey Savali spotting for him. And our congratulations to that entire team. It's just like we were talking about with Tim Andrews. He spots for Kyle Petty, and out here driving, it's going to help his job, obviously, on Sunday. Well, Salemi brought out caution number 1 of the day. Joey Logano has been dominant. Now the restart, they've been all year, where the leaders are side by side, so this will be very, very interesting. One of the cars that was making a move up was John Freeman. Well, I tell you what, Freeman got an interesting sponsor on that car out of Huntersville, North Carolina. Currently in the 8th place position. Started in 16th, like you say, Mike. He was a big mover. 6 actually green flag laps, and he went from 16th to 8th, and that's a big mover as of right now. If he continues to do that, it'll be a good day for John Freeman.
I talked about the sponsor. You see Mr. Mouth on the side, and on the front, it's Smash Mouth, the band, which I know you enjoy, and you see Mr. Mouth there right beside the number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Mouth actually wants to drive, I understand, as you see Smash Mouth, the sponsor on the car, and the front guy for the band is going to be actually getting behind the wheel of a car in the E Series next year.
Well, hopefully he don't smash him up. Don't have to change his name, because I think Smash Mouth on the top of that car would not be a good thing.
Well, it's been interesting since John Freeman got that sponsorship. Well, on the restart coming up here, we'll listen to Mr. Savali, Joey Logano's spotter, who he's gotten a lot of airtime this year, by the way. You know that.
Yeah, he has.
Joey Logano's been out front as we're about ready to go back. Green flag racing.
You're ready.
Oh, they just put the caution back out.
Yellow.
Oh, looks like the 5 car, Jonathan Smith, obviously having problems again. Boy, he's had a tough day, a tough start to this race. They had to push him off to start the race, and now he's broke down again. I think he probably want to pull that car in the garage area and call it a day.
Is there anything more frustrating, Dan? I mean, he qualified the car, and he barely could get it out to the starting line. It shut down on him. He had to be pushed off before the race started, and now it just lies dead in the water out on the racetrack. The caution has had to come back out once again. And it's got to be a killer for a young guy. This is a rookie, remember, and here comes a tow truck again to push him down back towards the garage. A rookie who wanted to run well here and wanted to show some of these Nextel Cup teams that he's really got something, and he's just not going to be able to get the chance to do it. Well, we've talked about some of these guys up front with a chance to win the race. There's Sean Case. He will start on the front row alongside Joey Logano. More on Sean. Let's go down to Natalie.
You know, when we're talking about race analysts, obviously we love to hear Dan Pardis talk, but also it's interesting to listen to Andy Santerre, what he's telling Sean at least. And after listening into them for a little bit, basically Sean's car's loose, and Andy says all the other cars seem to be tight out there, and Sean's itching to get the move. I mean, the buzz around this atmosphere is unreal, and Sean's wanting to make the move. Andy's saying no hold back. I don't think the other cars look too good, and they feel very confident in his setup. So it looks like we'll see if Sean's ready to make the move.
All right. Well, I think that'd be a good 3-man booth to get Andy out here. You know, Natalie is, but there's Andy Santerre, one of the great guys, and wife Sue alongside. And
not sure what he's going to do next year as far as cars. He's got plenty of cars in the stable, you know, looking for some drivers or some deals to come his way. So if anybody's looking for a good ride, I'd be calling Andy, because he's got one of the better cars in the series.
Well, and if you're saying, well, what about Sean Case? You know, it's not a done deal, but it looks pretty much like Sean Case is going to head to the Truck Series next year.
We talked about the success, Mike, with Jeffrey Earnhardt in the 1 car. Clint Cram, his crew chief, he was an old racer also. He raced in 1992 in a track called Monadnock in New Hampshire, Winchester, New Hampshire. He was a 92 track champion. Since then, he's worked for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He worked the surface plate with his operation, I believe, in the Busch shop, worked for Junior, but his whole family's involved. There's Buddy Cram. Buddy Cram works in the body shop at Everhams. Then there's another Cram involved. He's also Brian Cram. He works at DEI. He's a shop foreman for the 8 car. Then there's Kevin Cram. He works for Johnny Borneman on the West Coast. So, man, that whole family has been around racing. And, man, I'm sure them guys talk on the phone every week and say, hey, I found this and I found this. And that's why part of the success on that car, you've got to take your hat off to Clint Cram, because he's such an awesome crew chief. And, man, he's a hard, dedicated worker.
And Jeffrey Earnhardt has really improved. He's been in the top 5, 3 of the last 5 races in this series. And as you can see by the red car there, that is an old Dale Earnhardt Jr. car that he's driving. They just put different decals on it.